Summary of Longfellow's The Slave's Dream. The slave's dream portrays the terrible condition of a slave. He has been separated from his family and is working as a farm labor in a distant land. One day, exhausted, he falls unconscious with a sickle in his hand beside a heap of ungathered rice. In his dream, he sees his native land. He sees the river Niger flowing regally and himself as a king, no more bound to the shackles of slavery, walking with long strides under the palm trees. The slave is so moved by this dream that he actually hears the tinkle of caravans coming down the mountain road. In this vast expanse of land, there is freedom of movement, and the dreamer avails himself of the opportunities. The slave represented the pinnacle of power and control in his indigenous setting, realities opposite of the life he lives now. The dreamer, now a respected family head, sees his lovely wife standing among their adorable children. On seeing their father, they rush to him and hug him. They enjoy their father's company. The scene of family bliss makes the slave emotional, and a teardrop rolls out of his eyes and disappears in the sand. The image of a tenderly devoted family apparently presents a stark contrast to his current realities. In the dream, the dreamer then begins an uninhibited ride across his homeland. The slave imagines himself riding a horse at a furious speed along the banks of the Niger. He follows the flight of flamingos and continues to ride till he sees the roofs of the huts of the Kafre tribe. His horse carries him across the plains to the beautiful ocean side. These wonderfully vibrant visual images are accentuated by the free and native sounds of the wild. At night, he heard the lion roar, the hyena scream, and the hippopotamus crush the reeds in a marshy land, and they march triumphantly through his dream, breaking the infinite silence, and it gives him a sense of freedom and happiness. The forests and the desert cry out to him. They seem to exhort him for freedom. The powerful images shake him in his sleep, and he smiles at their expression of freedom. The manager supervising their work sees him sleeping for some time and cracks his whip on the slave's body. Freedom has come to the slave. He does not feel the sting of the whip and the burning heat of the day. The slave is liberated from the tyranny of slavery, symbolically in his dream, and is dead. His dead body lay on the ground as a worn out chain of slavery. His soul transcends misery and attains freedom through his demise. Though not free in real life, his last slumber and the visions of freedom that are conjured show that, on the level of consciousness at least, the slave conquered his bondsman existence. Reference to the context. First, beside the ungathered rice he lay, his sickle in his hand. Who is the poet talking about? Answer. The poet H.W. Longfellow is talking about a slave in America. What does the person have in his hand? Answer. The person has a sickle in his hand. Second, again in the mist and shadow of sleep, he saw his native land. What is referred to as the mist and shadow of sleep? Answer. The mist and shadow of sleep refers to the dream being dreamt by the slave. What is the slave's native land? Answer. The slave's native land is in Africa near the Niger River. Third, he saw once more his dark-eyed queen among her children stand. Who is referred to as the dark-eyed queen? Answer. The dark-eyed queen is a reference to the slave's lovely wife. Who is there with her? Answer. Their children are with her. Fourth, he did not feel the driver's whip nor the burning heat of day. What is the driver's whip? Answer. The slave has been found by the owner lying down and they are whipping him to wake him up. Why didn't he feel it? Answer. The slave did not feel the whip as his body is lifeless and he has attained death. Fifth, a worn-out fetter that the soul had broken and thrown away. Why is the slave's body compared to a worn-out fetter? Answer. The slave's body is compared to a worn-out fetter because his soul has broken the chains of his body and attained freedom after his death. What has happened to the slave? Answer. The slave has embraced death and his soul has been freed from slavery. Answer the questions briefly. First, why did the slave lie beside the ungathered rice? Answer. The slave lay beside the ungathered rice because he was too tired to complete his assigned tasks. Second, describe the slave's physical appearance. Answer. The slave had a bare breast that signifies the bareness of his life. His matted hair was buried in the sand that shows that he is slowly dying due to a tired body and soul. Third, what river did the slave see in his dreams? Answer. The slave sees the river Niger in his dreams. Fourth, what did the slave see himself as? Answer. The slave sees himself as a king. Fifth, where was he riding in his dream? Describe the place. Answer. The slave imagines himself riding a horse swiftly along the banks of the Niger. He follows the flamingos and rides on till he sees the roofs of the huts of the Caffre tribe. At night, he hears the lions roar, the hyenas scream, and the hippopotamus crush the reeds in a marshy land. Next, the forests shouted of liberty. What does this refer to? Answer. The forests shouted of liberty refers to the cry of the slave's soul for freedom and liberty. Here is think and answer questions. First, do you think the slave not only suffered from the cruelty of his master but also the harshness of nature? Give reasons for your answer. Answer. Yes, the slave suffered from the harshness of nature as the last stanza mentions the burning heat of the day where he is lying in direct sunlight. Second, what was the slave's dream? Answer. The slave's dream was to get his freedom so that he could visit his homeland in Africa and meet his family. Third, what kind of life did the slave have? Did he eventually get freedom? If yes, how? Answer. The slave led a very sad life as he had no freedom. In a way, he eventually did get freedom because death is the only means of attaining freedom of any kind.